Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing. For today's video, we are going to be going through my November reading wrap up. I read 4 books this month. Not my best month, but you know what? It's just been a busy month and sometimes life can do that to you. I've managed to read 3 books that were on my November TBR. Currently reading the 4th one, and I know for a fact I'm not going to get to The Front Runner by Elsie Silver, but without further ado, let's roll on to our first book of November, and that was The Haunting of Emily Grace by Elena Taylor, and this was actually an e-arc, so thank you so much to NetGalley for sending this over to me, but I do believe this is now out and it's been released. I'm going to give this one 3 stars. This wasn't an amazing read, but equally it wasn't terrible. It was just okay, and I'm not sure that I would recommend to you. So we have got Emily Grace, and quite early on we found out that Emily has gone through something quite traumatic and she wants to kind of start afresh, and she is actually a handywoman, and she sees an advertisement of this big mansion on this remote island and it needs a bit of refurbished doing, so she applies for the job and she gets it. So she starts speaking around on this remote island, and it turns out that this mansion on the top of this hill is not all what it seems. So while Emily has been working there, some strange things are going on, and if it was an isolated incident she might just write it off. But too much is happening and she decides that she wants to find out what is going on. I felt like beginning of November, I was still in my spooky season and I kind of wanted a horror/thriller-esque book. This definitely isn't horror. I did kind of assume where it says haunting in the title, it might have something to do with kind of supernatural elements, but it's not. So that was kind of the first flag for me. I was just a bit kind of disappointed, but also it's just not very thrilling. Like, I just found the storyline a bit bland. Like, not much was going on until right at the end, and I don't know, I wasn't overly pleased with the ending either. I just felt like it was a little bit silly. I just don't feel like the storyline was anything great. Now, on to Emily Grace. Emily was annoying. And the reason why I was not going above a 3 stars here was because she asks herself so many questions. Now, obviously, that is the writing style, and I get it. And it just peeved me off so much. I'm fully aware this could be a very niche thing, and this could only affect me. But when you, as a main character, are asking yourself so many questions, what is going on? It was so silly as well. Like, she made the most stupidest decisions and therefore I couldn't root for you. Like, how can I root for you when you are making some dumb decisions? I can't. But to be fair, I don't think she was very likable anyway. The asking of the questions constantly, it was too much for me. And actually, if you took a shot for every time she asked herself a question, you'd be taken to hospital within the first 10 minutes. There was also like a romance chucked into this, and honestly I don't know why. I don't think it added anything to the story, and actually I felt like it cheapened it just a little bit. I just don't think it was needed, and yeah, I feel like that was the overall theme for me. It just wasn't very cohesive as a book, but I mean, I'm not super mad that I read it. I just don't think I would recommend it to you guys. But yeah, overall just a 3 stars. The next book I read in November was The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this is the second book in the Inheritance game series, and I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one. Again, much like the first one, it was fun, it was entertaining, it was engaging, and I just flew through this. Like, I wanted to keep carrying on reading. It was just such a good time. I won't say too much about the plot just because obviously it's the second one in a series and I don't want to give anything too much away. Obviously this series is about puzzles and whatnot. I do feel like some of the puzzles in this book was a bit of a stretch. I don't know. I wasn't sold on them. I did feel like they were a bit of a stretch, but they were still entertaining. So I was still flying through the book. I think the one thing that really annoyed me was how much Avery's friend Max was in it. She only kind of had a starring role in the first book, but she was a lot more prominent in this one. And my God, she is annoying. She must be one of the most annoying characters I've ever read in a book. And the reason being is, I mean, I know this is a YA series, so Max doesn't swear, but instead of just not swearing, she substitutes those swear words for different words. Like she would say, for fuck's sake. And when this goes on throughout a book, the entirety of the book when she appears, it's a little bit grating. I'm sorry, call me Debbie Downer, I'm so sorry. It was just so grating on me, and I actually was rolling my eyes every time I knew that she was coming onto the page, or like she had a dialogue scene, and I was just cringing so hard. And also, while we're on the point of characters in the book, Oren, who is the head of security, he needs a new job. He is the worst head of security ever, because Avery had so many threats come to her. And I think what made me laugh is they don't acknowledge the fact that as head of security, he should have done better. Like, by the end of the book, he's still going on as if he's the best head of security, and it just made me chuckle a little bit. But yeah, other than that, I really can't complain. There is a trope in here that not many people like. I've come to realise I love. I love it so much. So if you don't want to know what the trope is, maybe just skip ahead like 10 seconds. But the trope is a love triangle. I did not realise I loved a love triangle trope so much, but I do. But overall, really entertaining read. I cannot wait to start the third one, which I think is The Brothers Gambit. And yeah, and do you know what? Read more of Jennifer Lynn Barnes's work. I think I have The Natural somewhere on my shelf. Obviously, I want to read the Inheritance Game series before I start that one. And I've actually heard that one is a lot better than the Inheritance Game. Yeah, I'm so excited for that. Really enjoy her writing. And even though it's YA, obviously adults can still enjoy it. And I would highly recommend this series, especially if you want a series that is quite light. I mean, obviously you've got the puzzle content and you can try and figure those out, but at the same time it's nothing too heavy. Okay, so my third read of November was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and all I've got to say is, why did I wait so long? Everyone was telling me, just read the damn series, just you won't be disappointed, please read it. And you know what? I let the hype surrounding this book stopped me from reading it. And if you are in the same boat as me, please don't let that stop you. This was incredible, and I rated it 4.5 stars. So a lot of people did tell me, just get through the first book, then the rest of the series will be brilliant. Like, the first one is just little bit, not, I don't want to say boring, but it's just kind of not as hard hitting as the rest of the series. That just makes me so excited to read the rest. I do feel like where this is coming from is because I would say the first 40% is a lot of world building, but that is what I want, especially in a fantasy book. I want to be transported elsewhere. So world building is perfect for me. The plot. We've got two realms here. We've got the human world and we've got the Fae world. So we've got Feyre, who is a human, and she is kind of the support beam for her family because they were quite wealthy, quite in good spirits, but recently that's all come crashing down. They have to hunt for their own food. They just don't have the means as what they used to have. But Feyre, she's kind of the linchpin. She takes care of this family pretty much by herself. And one day she goes out hunting and she comes across a juicy wolf. So she shoots it. She shoots this wolf. But it turns out this might not be a wolf at all. And actually it was Fae. So someone else in the Fae world has come knocking on her door and said, look, you've just shot one of our Fae, we need payment. And that payment is you, who shot the Fae, is going to come into the Fae world with us. And I feel like that's all I'm going to say. A lot more happens, but I actually went into this book completely blind. I strongly advise anyone who can do that to do it, because I've avoided all spoilers. Obviously, this book is here, there, and everywhere, but I'm pretty good, and I do tend to just like go off anything that's ACOTAR related. Yes, of course I know like settings, i.e. Nightcall, and names like Tamlin and Feyre, but I don't know anything more. Like, I don't know, absolute plot wise, I have no Scooby-Doo. And actually where this book started, I would never have guessed what the ending would be. Like, there was twists and turns all the time. Like, the plot was plotting. The characters, I loved Feyre as our female main character. Tamlin, I always thought that was a woman. Turns out it's a man, and that is our male main character. My God, I love Tamlin. I love Tamlin so much. I have such a sweet spot for Tamlin. I did actually do a reading vlog, so I'll link the card up here, but it was just such a ride. The chapters weren't short, but I flew through them. So considering I only read 4 books in the month of November, I read this book, I think, in like 3 or 4 days. If that's not endorsement enough, I don't know what is. Like, I genuinely flew through it, and I just cannot wait to read the next one. Obviously, the next one is on my December TBR, and that I will definitely be reading for December. I'm absolutely hooked. Also, I feel like the creatures that were in here made the story in a way. And maybe I'm kind of foreshadowing here because everybody loves this series, but I just know there's just going to be so much more to come. And if book 1 is any indication on how the rest of the series is going to be, I understand why it's a favourite for most people. Would I recommend this book? Absolutely. 4.5 stars. If you've not read it and you're just a bit worried about the hype, please don't let it put you off. I still can't get over the fact that it's taken me this long to read it. Why didn't I just listen to everyone? So the final book that I have definitely read in November is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. I give this one 3 stars. Maybe a generous 3 stars. This one wasn't for me. So I was fully aware that this was YA. I didn't realise how YA it would be. This was quite childish, in my opinion. I felt the writing was very childish. I just don't think... I mean, as a 30-year-old woman, this isn't targeted towards me. So this is why maybe you should take this review with a pinch of salt. But I'm just kind of over high school dramas. The plot, I don't know how much to talk about the plot because I feel like it will give spoilers, but we've got Autumn and Finn, and they have lived next door to each other their entire lives. They are practically a little bit like family. Their mums are best friends. They go over to each other's houses for dinner. Like, they're always together. One day something happens and it kind of steers them in opposite directions. So they then go to the same high school and they are now in different friend groups, very different friend groups. And we are kind of going through their story throughout their school life, throughout their personal life. And that's all I'm going to say for the plot, so I don't give too much away. I think the main problem for me was it was just so young, like really young. And I know I was young once, but I'm way past those years and I couldn't fully appreciate what was going on. I mean, they were literally fighting over a table at one point. I didn't like Autumn as a character. I felt she was very selfish, and maybe that's the whole point of like how youngsters are. Like, everything is kind of the worst problem in the world, right? I mean, we've all been there. We think one minor inconvenience is our whole world is ending, and that's how I felt with Autumn. And as much as I'm trying to put myself in her shoes, I'm just like, you're just annoying. Like, you're really selfish. You're annoying. All you care about is yourself. And I just couldn't get on board with her. To be honest, I wasn't rooting for a happy ending for her. Now, talking about the ending, number one, I saw it a mile off. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I knew where this was going from the very first chapter, which may be the point. I looking back now, I'm thinking actually maybe that was the point. But also I found it very abrupt. You couldn't even have any emotions about what was happening because it happened so sharp. If you're over a certain age, i.e. like 15, 16, I'm not sure you're going to enjoy this. I mean, maybe I'm being a bit harsh there. Maybe if you've just finished school as well, maybe from like 18 above, I'm not sure this one's going to be for you. And I don't think I would recommend it. If you are younger, I would recommend it, and I think you'd have a much better time than what I have. But overall, no, it just wasn't for me. And I'm a little bit, I am sad about that. It wasn't that I'm upset that I read it, because obviously I did read it and it wasn't just an okay read. I do have the second book in the series ready to go. I think it's called If Only I'd Been With Her, and it's told from Finn's perspective, I believe, which actually fills me with a little bit of hope because I just didn't like Autumn as a character, but the way that Finn was in the first book, he seemed okay. But you know, I do have higher hopes for the second one, but I'm also worried it's just going to be exactly the same as the first book, but told in a different perspective. Just a middle of the road 3 stars, I'm afraid. And currently I'm reading Fearless by Lauren Roberts. Sorry, this is just the hardback sleeve because the actual book is upstairs. And I'm too lazy to get it. I know, so bad. But I do not think I'm going to finish this book in November, but I'm going to talk about it in November because I'm going to try my hardest. So I'm currently about 200, just shy of 200 pages in. Guys, I don't like it. What? I don't like it. Now, obviously, I've not finished the entire book. This could be a U-turn. I could find it 5 stars at the end of this. As it stands where I am at the moment, I would rate this a 2.5. Why? Because I've read this exact same book in book 1 and book 2. This is so boring. There is absolutely no originality in this book with what I've read so far. I won't talk about the plot just because obviously I don't want to give spoilers for book 1 and 2, but it is pretty much a carbon copy of those 2 books kind of meshed together. And I'm bored. Like I'm actually worried this is going to put me in a reading slump. I'm going to try my hardest. People say it does get really good. It's also got like a 4.08 rating on Goodreads. What am I missing, guys? What if anyone loves this series, please tell me what I'm missing. Kai, he's a wet lettuce. He is such a wet lettuce, and I'm so bored of him professing his love about Payden. I'm just bored. We know what the situation is. And also this book is very, very repetitive. I just feel like they think that we're just a bit silly and we can't remember past 2 hours ago. You know, like I know what happened in book 2 because you've told me 10 times. I don't know. I just feel like this series just isn't for me. I know I should have just DNF'd the series, but I can't do that. There is something wrong with me where I physically cannot DNF a book, and if it is sitting on my shelf, I will not get rid of it until I have read it. I know it is a bad trait to have, but it is a trait that I do have. I do really feel bad saying that because I never want to be nasty about a book. And actually book 1 and book 2, I could see a vision and I could see kind of Lauren Roberts writing, and I really thought she could go somewhere, especially if she'd done like an adult fantasy. I really felt like her writing could shine. But now I'm scared because this book, there's nothing new in it. There's no originality. Like I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be reading. What I will say, minor spoiler, is there are trials in this book. I've only read the first one, the first trial, so that's kind of where I'm up to. It was terrible. It was terrible. I can't say anything about giving spoilers, so I'm not going to. But the first trial, it's not really a trial. And I'm sorry, it was written too quickly, too abruptly. 1 minute she's walking to her destination where it's going to take like 3 hours to get to, but then the next sentence she's there. But I did want to talk about it because if this is still how I'm feeling at the end of this book, I'm not going to bring it up in my next wrap up. I'm just going to leave it here. At the moment, I don't recommend Fearless. If you've read the other 2 in this series, then you might as well read it. But the series as a whole, I don't think I can recommend it. But again, take that with a grain of salt because a lot of people do absolutely love and adore this series. But that is it for my November reading wrap up. If you did find yourself enjoying this video, it would mean so much to me if you could like and subscribe. I would love to have you. But I would love to know if you have read any of the books that I've read in the month of November, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, which I feel like there could be a few. And did you have any 5-star reads? Is there any reads that you had that you hated and that I should avoid like the plague? That is me done, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.